the Senate.
Yeah,
Allison?
looks like Pelosi not in any rush to send those articles over to the Senate. Kristen Holmes, thanks so much. And let's bring in Elie Honig to discuss more on everything impeachment. He is a former federal prosecutor and a CNN legal analyst. Good morning and happy holidays. Thanks for coming in on Christmas.
No problem, Allison. Thanks for having me.
So talk about Nancy Pelosi's strategy here. She's not in any rush to send these articles over to the Senate. If the Trump administration and Senate Majority Leader McConnell are unwilling to work with congressional Democrats, what legal leverage do they have?
So I think Speaker Pelosi's strategy here is more political than legal. Legally, she doesn't really have a super strong base to stand on here. There is no formal requirement in the Constitution that she transmit the articles over. And frankly, the Senate, I believe, can just start the trial under the notion that they have the sole power to trial impeachments under the Constitution. And there's really very little that Nancy Pelosi or the Democrats can do to stop it. But I think what Speaker Pelosi is trying to do here is focus attention on the procedures. And really, I think she's trying to force the issue of, are we going to have a real trial here with actual facts and evidence, or are we going to have just this empty political show? And I do think she has some traction there. And I think she's trying to force the issue, force Republicans to agree to at least some presentation of evidence at the trial.
And we now know that around 90 minutes after President Trump spoke to Ukraine's President Zelensky on July 25th, an Office of Management and Budget official, Mike Duffy, ordered the Pentagon to freeze security funding for Ukraine. How significant of a development is this?
It's really significant, Allison, because it gives us just a small glimpse at what the White House and Donald Trump are hiding. Let's remember, House Democrats served 71 subpoenas or requests for information during their investigation on the administration. The administration blocked every single one of them, did not produce a single piece of paper. The reason we saw this email involving Michael Duffy is because there was a separate Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. So it was almost sort of a fluke that this email came out. But just seeing that one document out of thousands, tens of thousands, we don't know the number, that are being held back, gave us a little glimpse of just how important the information is. Michael Duffy talks about how he received guidance that the foreign aid needs to be withheld from Ukraine, and that this is a sensitive request. And so, to me, that raises a lot of questions, and I think is really suspicious just on its face.
Now, another witness who Democratic lawmakers would like to get their hands on, get on the stand, is former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Ambassador Bolton sat down with Axios earlier this week, bashing the Trump administration's stance on North Korea. What do you think? What message does this send?
Well, it certainly tells us that John Bolton is not towing the party line here. Obviously, he's left the administration. But Bolton, to me, is really the most important potential witness that remains out there. Let's remember, we know from the witness testimony from one of the witnesses who testified in the House, Tim Morrison, that John Bolton had a one-on-one conversation with Donald Trump, trying to convince Trump to release the aid. We don't know exactly what was said and what happened during that meeting. John Bolton certainly knows. But we know that when Bolton came out, he said, he, meaning Trump, he's not ready yet. So that's a crucial conversation. And really, there's only two people who can tell us what happened there. Donald Trump, who I would not count on ever testifying, and John Bolton. So John Bolton needs to get serious here. He needs to, enough with the book deals, enough with the Twitter. If he has something to say, and he clearly does, let's get him under oath. Let's hear what he has to say. For better or for worse, for Donald Trump, for Republicans, for Democrats, whoever it may help or hurt, let's get some truth here.
Okay, Elie, it's Christmas, so let's take a step back here. Do you think there's any chance that Democrats and Republicans are going to be able to come together in the new year?
Well, I'll sound a little note of Christmas optimism. I do think and hope there's some hope that they come together at least on the notion of let's have a meaningful trial here. It shouldn't be that controversial, this idea of let's have some witnesses, let's have some evidence at a trial. I mean, that's what a trial is. So I am hopeful that they come together and at least agree, let's have a process here, and then however it comes out, there can be some real legitimacy to it, and the American public can have some confidence that our constitutional process was served.
All right, CNN